Okay, so remember that they're changing my voice. I'm gonna have to go over time a little bit on this video like the last video. But really quickly, in the first part of this series, I told you why white supremacy is evil. In the second part, the second video, I've shown you definitively that attractive females are extremely wrong on the issue of how they should treat me and what they should put first. I've proven definitively that romantic justice is more important than life itself, life in this world. It is something that God takes very seriously, and that goes without saying. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why females shouldn't be breaking my heart, why it should be something that is out of the question for them. In Proverbs, you see scriptures to the effect that heartache crushes the spirit, what have you. And to delay a good thing from somebody and to give it to them right away and so on and so forth. How good is a timely word? How good is a timely marriage? What have you. In Proverbs 26, verse 10, it says, like an archer that wounds at random is one who hires a fool or any passerby. Proverbs 27:18 through 19. Like a maniac shooting flaming arrows of death is one who deceives a neighbor and says, I was only joking. So now, if an archer was wounding at random, why on earth would they be doing that? Are they the wise archer? Are they some wise archer that deserves to be deified or something? That's stupid, right? So they're going on a whim, which is like a feeling. So they felt like wounding people at random. And someone defending them might say, hey, doesn't it matter what they feel like doing? They have free will or something to that effect. Doesn't it matter what they want? To some degree it does, but that's not what should determine their behavior. What should determine their behavior is moral precision. Is it right to wound people at random just because some atheists argue that there's no such thing as what there must be a such thing as, which is moral absolutes? Again, I don't want them to take me out of context. Because some atheists lost their mind and argue something that is outrageous, when they argue that there's no such thing as something you know must be true like moral absolutes. Should you play stupid with them? Like some kind of worm that doesn't understand what it means to be grown? Some kind of worm that doesn't understand what it means to be raised right, what it means to be mature, what it means to be a person of principle? So it is clear that an attractive female that rejects submitting to God through me, especially in regards to romance, is an archer that wounds at random. They're just going based on feelings. And we see all throughout history, females have the option to either kill themselves or reject someone and get away with it or whatever. They have options in various scenarios. And they choose to date scum. Now again, when it comes to who's responsible the most before God, it is the governing class. It is the males in the governing class specifically. Basically. Because they're supposed to subdue the rest of the planet, including women, in the moral order, not cheat anyone out of their rightful place. But when it comes to females' individual decision, which determines whether they go up or down, as they say, it's their fault. As we put them collectively, all the attractive women on the planet collectively, we analyze them carefully, and we see that cowardice in them. We know it's their fault. On an individual level and collectively. Their lack of judgment. On the highest level, it's guys' fault. On the level of, hey, what the fuck, you have a choice to make as an individual. It's their fault. Now, when I say guys, I mean those specific scoundrels in the governing class who determine who gets raised what way and why and so on and so forth. Pretty straightforward. Any questions? Again, put in the comments. Now, if they say, well, we're just joking around, we're Harley Quinn, or we think it's funny, or we're a sorority chick laughing with her friends, that's stupid. Then their argument is clear. They're arguing that being a maniac shooting flaming arrows of death at people who don't deserve to be hurt is okay if you're just joking. That is their argument. That is sick. And you see them living that argument every day because of the failure of the governing class patriarchs. Those fucking cowards. Those worms. It says in Proverbs, I cite this verse all the time, I can't think of it right now. It says, a beautiful woman who rejects good sense is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. Now, logic would tell you if the author of Proverbs, or that book in Proverbs, knows that people go to hell when they don't do God's work, then they're like a gold ring in a pig's snout that deserves to suffer forever. So why on earth should people not chastise them when they're here? That leads me to my first official point in this video. Point number one. One should only be extremely concerned with the pain and heartbreak of those who are righteous with a universally sound scale when it comes to pain and heartbreak in my lifetime and on. As there is no hope for people that are determined to be rebels, and there's no hope for people outside the divine order after my flesh dies, and no one should reproduce no matter what. So, point number one, again. One should be extremely concerned with the pain and heartbreak of those who are righteous with a universally sound scale when it comes to pain and heartbreak in my lifetime and on, as there is no hope for people that are determined to be rebels. Even if you're a nice person, if you're poor and hungry, if you are a rebel in your heart, you deserve to suffer. You think it's okay to set your mind on a course that you should know way better than to set your mind on. Without reading any religious book, you should know way better, which is to cheat the most righteous? Surely you all know this. If cheating somebody who's neutral is wrong, how much more cheating the most righteous person that ever lived? Surely you all know this. Point number two. Time flies by and you have one life to get it right. Only an idiot doesn't know this. Even if you're a Buddhist or a Hindu, you'd have to be one stupid fuck to think that what you do in this life doesn't matter. That's not what the precepts of those religions are teaching. They're teaching you to scramble to get it right to achieve enlightenment. Not be some kind of namby-pamby worm. What kind of brain-dead fool gets that from that? You're an agnostic or an atheist, you should agree. A monotheistic person, they all should be in alignment here. That what you do in this life matters, and time goes by fast. Overall. 3. Any attractive female that will reject the top martial arts ever possible is such a selfish, petty, evil, childish, and toxic person that flogging her to death wouldn't be harsh enough, and on some level everyone knows it. Now, I'm not arguing that everyone immediately concedes my point immediately and says that's correct. Because people don't really respect the idea of the top martial artist. They don't. Look at what happened to MMA fighting, you know. Again, it's not the ultimate competition or something, but it's not the true way to determine who's the top martial artist, but it's turned into a complete clown show, technology, what have you. And the point of this video isn't to make it so you stop watching that or something. Hey, I'm just telling the truth. You know? Okay. So, we see that the example was made that someone should make an example out of that person and that they should flog them to death. Okay? And that was the argument that was made. Okay. So basically this person just came by and just did a dance that this person in Gearware made, did, you know. Anyway, so where was I? I'm just going to release this in the form that it's in instead of put a picture on it. Even though it's going to take longer to upload because I think it's important that you kind of see that what just happened there anyway. So I was saying that the attractive female who gets flogged to death is being made an example of, and it's to wipe away that sin and that offense. Now, why did I say she deserves to get flogged to death? If she would reject the top martial arts ever possible, why? Now, first of all, if you're an attractive female, what do you perceive your worth to be? Generally speaking, almost often. So you're just another pretty face. But you know that pretty face and that pretty body or whatever has a lot of kind of feminine influence in society. It affects people in a drastic way. They wield a lot of, feminine power, we'll say. Worldly power. They're not divine. So if you're just another attractive female, what the fuck gives you the right to date the most righteous? The word righteous, the right and righteous. What the fuck gives you the right to date, to reject the most righteous person that ever lived? I don't think it's a coincidence they caused me to slip on my words there. What the hell, right? If you're a serious Christian, you're like, duh, he's Jesus. What the fuck, lady? Right? If you're someone with sense, saying, look, he's the most righteous person. Okay, so let me put it into different, let me try to illustrate my point here. If you're a white skater, like, dude, he's like the top martial artist ever possible. He is the top martial artist ever possible. Why would you reject him? What the fuck? That's stupid. If you're a Christian, you say that was very evil of you, very selfish of you. And I'm very disappointed if you're that kind of person. Well, your parents should be very ashamed of themselves that you rejected Jesus. Like, do I have to fucking explain this? If you're a Muslim and from a primitive, maybe not primitive, but a tribal community that stones people to death for less, you would stone that whore to death. Bitch, take that. Not in those words, but by your actions. If you're a Satanist that's sick of the bullshit, you'd also want to punish that bitch. The devil hates everybody, especially a dumb fucking bitch who would reject them if they were Jesus. What more reason do you have to hate somebody than that? Kings detest wrongdoing, for a throne is established in righteousness. Proverbs 16:12. The righteous detest the dishonest. The wicked detest the upright. By her actions, she's a lying ass whore. She's trying to tell people that if you're an attractive female and you feel like rejecting Jesus, hey, by all fucking means, guys, like a dumb bitch. Don't you people see? Don't even the most feminist bitch among you see what the fuck I'm saying? Even the most white racist piece of shit, don't you see what the fuck I'm saying? Now, I said it those ways to illustrate my point. I'm not some guy in a lunatic, in an insane asylum, yelling things that don't make sense. It is commonly understood that I'm right. But because it's me and I'm a mulatto, son of two doctors, one a brain surgeon, who's a humanitarian, magically they don't get it. They don't get it in California. Right now, as I'm making this video, I'm in Morgan Hill, which is like 10-minute drive, and the freeway's right there. I could be in San Jose in 10 minutes, which is the most populated city in Northern California. But I'm shunned. Don't you think heads should roll? You go to the Bible, and you, Capernaum, will you be lifted to the heavens? No, you'll go down to Hades. And what he was referring to was less offensive to God than what they've done to me here. Women used to scramble to just touch the cloak of Jesus. If he said, I need a donkey, I need a colt, they would give it to him. Now that the real idea is here in the pinnacle of martial arts, for the life of you, you people don't understand right from wrong? Worse than what they're talking about being criminally insane in a court of law? When it comes to life, sanity, you people are lost. When it comes to universal and true sanity, you people are insane. Even if you're agnostic. When I say to the agnostic, you think that an attractive female should risk, from your point of view, what is a risk? From my point of view, as the smartest person that ever lived, which is sure punishment. Pissing off God Almighty because of her selfish and petty Powerpuff Girl-like emotions, her My Little Pony bitch, her Cinderella princess complex slut fucking way of thinking? You think it's okay for her, by her action, to be like, I'm going to reject him because I'm a dumb bitch? You think that's the move? I hope you're not anybody's mentor if that's the case. Anyway. Okay. Point number 4, I think we're on here. We live in a society and on a planet where countless people who are less sincere scramble, sabotage, and use technology to try to seem more sincere than people that are more sincere. So if that chick did reject, Christ, me. This is part of why. So the agnostic, the atheist, the Christians, you name it, white supremacists, feminists, what have you, you think it's okay for them to scramble to use technology, okay, and poisons and sabotage to try to seem like a better candidate for a date. Candidate, right? The word date is scrambled in the word candidate. Estimate, right? It has the word mate in it. An estimation. The word shun in it. You think it's okay for them to do that? Because when you say, hey, it's up to her and that's all there is to it, you're not trying to bind her within moral principles. You're not trying to get her to think in terms of principles, but rather to think in terms of what she feels like doing. So you're basically saying it's okay for these people to trick the hell out of them. And then when they make the wrong choice because they got tricked like a dumb slut fucking bitch made trick, to be like, well, that's what she wants, okay? And that's all there is to it. That kind of thinking did not create the top martial artist, I'll tell you that. Point number 5. Romantic justice is more important than the living flesh of every person on this planet. I think I went over this in the other video, right? That is so true. That is so true. Okay, if I had a family, say I had 10 kids, and they basically, society gave me an ultimatum, and they said, hey, we are going to massacre you and your family unless you all are sexually controlled by us. I'd say you can go to fucking hell over my dead body, and I proudly fight you dogs to the fucking death. Not only that, what the fuck did you think I was going to say? Okay? Well, why? I thought the flesh is all that matters. Look, I'm the top martial artist ever possible. You think I fear the death of myself and my family? And that God would see even a moment of that fear? And you lost your mind. I proudly and without hesitation choose to die for true love rather than live to be some kind of sniveling, fucking, romantic, justice-shunning dog. But now these females, for whatever reason, they're kind of walking right toward me, so I got to tone it down a little bit here. And that is the fact of the matter, folks. This is kind of rather unfortunate. This person is disabled or has an injury, rather. I wonder if they see me for the righteous person that I am. Okay, where was I? As you see, I can demonstrate that I can calm myself down. So it's not like I'm a threat to the public. And my windows are up right now. We're rolled up, what have you. Okay. Point number 6. Now, when I said that, as I look at these people, it's like they could have been like my family, Could have married a white chick and those are her children, and the black chick is my child by her or something. I mean the things that I say. Point number 6. The attractive female that takes part in the toxic process of trying to put LGBT so-called love over true love is an indescribable and intolerable monster. Now again, no offense to anybody other than the offense that God intended. The reason why I'm right here is something that a lot of LGBT people, and I'd imagine most LGBT people could admit, okay, is that there is no sound universal argument that makes it so that it's logical to believe that type of so-called love is magically above true heterosexual love. So if you go from a position of a lack of logic and you try to put that over what is logically greater on a subject that is so sacred and important, then what you're doing is extremely wrong. I don't do this so people go, why? I can't stop myself, and beat themselves up and start cutting themselves or something. I do not want you to do that. I want you to change your ways. I want you to rally to me. I forgot to bring up this example, right? When courage and intelligence, like true intelligence, life intelligence, always kind of go hand in hand. The Egyptians used to say that the heart was the seat of intelligence, right? Have heart, art, martial arts, having heart. Now, we look at it in terms of primitive man. If primitive man came to the conclusion that he didn't want to get eaten by an animal, so he's just going to sit on his butt and starve to death, he would be dumb. And if he said, well, it's not that I don't understand that it's dumb to do what he's doing. He said that he just doesn't want to get killed. His overall sum total thought process is still the thought process of an idiot. You need to get over that fear, gather those berries or whatever, the fruit, hunt the animals, fish, whatever you got to do in that scenario. And so people need to be courageous. Corazon, core alpha zone. And I hope you understand that nobody is more of a nice and approachable guy than I am. I do not look like a black Freddy Krueger or something, even after all the stuff I've been through. I have a light blue sweater, okay? I dress very humbly. I'm very approachable. Okay. Point number 7. This one's a very interesting one. And it's going to be the last point. I went way over time. I already kind of deviated from the course I set for myself with this series in terms of how long the videos are. Let me just wrap this up here. If sex is just sex and not an important idea. So let's stop there. Some of you say, well, why do you feel the need to say this? That's a very good question. There are people out there who say it's just sex. When they're trying to turn out a whore or something, a prostitute or a future prostitute, they'll say that it's just sex, right? When they try to get a female to sleep with a boss to keep their job, or somebody wants their friend to sleep with some guy in order to, give them some, position or advantage in society or to high school, they might just say, hey, it's just sex. Everyone does it. Grow up or whatever. It's not, quote unquote, just sex. It is an important idea, and it's important to get it right and to make the distinction between true love and immoral sex and what have you. Truly making love and immoral sex and what have you. So if it's just sex, why do so many people in prison rape other men and sometimes kill them when before they consider themselves straight? Why do some females get raped and killed? Why was the story of the Trojan War written? And notice there's also heroes in the Trojan War. They're fighting, single combat, what have you. So why was it written in mythology? Why do so many scientists believe that males, generally speaking, have a higher sex drive and thus in some ways have more intimacy needs? Why was Romeo and Juliet written? Does not sex produce children? Sometimes does not sex cause people to spread diseases? It is not a form of exercise to some degree. I go as far as to say that it's a part of good health. It forces the brain to marshal the body in a certain way. The brain says, okay, what does this mean? Okay, it's like dusting off the brain's processes in regards to having sex with somebody, right? Having sex, sexual behavior. It's part of evolution. And the brain has evolved to say, hey, this needs to be applied to a certain degree. And the brain then decides to what degree is excessive. The brain decides in epigenetics, right? The brains of your forefathers and foremothers helped your brain decide to what degree sex becomes excessive. You might have a bruised private part, what have you. You might get tired because the brain has evolved to say this is important and I need to do it this way and I need to toughen up the body to this degree and so on and so forth. How could it just be sex? So have attractive females treated me unfairly? Are they like archers wounding at random, like maniacs shooting flaming arrows of death at the Christos, the Son of God? Those who cheat me out of my right to lead deserve to be set on fire and shot with an arrow. But did I deserve this? No. Thank you.